I do like this side better.
We got this table's all wrong. Table's wrong. Start over.
I like
Okay.
this. It's better now.
All right.
All right, 7 o'clock. Let's get going. Welcome to the show. Thursday Night Tavern Talk. Jack and Dan is here with you, as always. Let's thank for a pledge of allegiance. Look this, you gotta look this way, right, Jack? So we look like we're good.
Really? Well, I told Eric we got 2 flags.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We got no heads.
Mike, we need us to prayer, please.
Yes. Okay, I have a thought. I got this from the Swords of the Lord, June 24th edition. Patrick Henry shouted, "Give me liberty or give me death." The next generation shouted, "Give me liberty." Today's generation shouts, "Give me." Last time I read the gospel, 1 Corinthians 15, 1-4. Today I'll read 2 Corinthians 5:17. And for the fourth, which we weren't on, Galatians 5:1. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And Galatians 5:1. Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ had made us free, and be not engaged and entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Today's prayer is for all the people grieving in this nation from all the death and violence going on in this nation. Isaiah 25:8a. He will swallow up death in victory, and the Lord God will wipe away tears from off all faces. Let's pray. Lord Father, right now standing at the graves of the loved ones at the ones they love, they cannot be consoled by any words. They are only capable of weeping for their loss, and all they can feel is despair and anger that their loved ones have been ripped away from them. They are in shock and in pain, and yet Jesus, through his death and resurrection, has conquered death. John 3:15. Please, Lord Father, be with them today as they grieve. Lord, wipe away their tears and give them faith in these dark hours. For the victory is already yours. We pray this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right. Now it starts.
Yeah.
Whoop.
So
There we go.
I want to
Now
thank
I'm
everyone
smart.
for listening to the show, and when you share it with somebody, we appreciate it. So share it with people you know. We do appreciate you.
We got today's the first day without Sean Patrick. He's working.
Yeah, we got Phil, we got James today from New York, we
Yep.
got Mike from Ocala, Florida.
My nephew Michael. But I do have a question from Sean Patrick to my brother, since he wasn't here in person. Mike, Sean Patrick wants to know if you could let him know how big the first wheel was that was invented.
If I remember right, it was small with a little hole in the middle, just in case.
Please visit our
Yeah.
website, fedupwithpolitics.com, and share that with people you know too. So grab your favorite drink, sit back and relax, and reach out to us, ask us some questions. After all, we are live, we need to get some feedback.
Yeah, everybody's on vacation.
So let's get right into it. Jack, you want to start us off with our first round?
Sure. So the question posed last week by me is, can the elected government that we have today rule over the appointed bureaucracy that's growing? So we had said, it's about 50-50 right now in size. Actually, I think the bureaucracies are a little bigger. There's going to become a point where the bureaucracies are going to be so big that our elected officials are not going to be able to govern those bureaucracies. They're going to be governing them and us. Because like we've said many times, these bureaucracies have all 3 branches of government there. They make the laws, they make the budgets, and then they hear the arguments. So they have all 3 branches of government. So right now, we have a feeling that things are in our favor, because we had a couple of rulings from the Supreme Court to come down. The first one was the carry permits in New York. You're allowed to, if you have your, you're able to get your carry permit and carry that gun outside of the range and stuff like that. Again, brings it back to the state. Of course, New York has a maniac for a governor, and she literally said, somebody had asked her, well, what is the number of crimes committed by people that have a legal license to carry a weapon? And her answer to that was, believe it or not, I don't need the numbers to know that this is a problem. So there you have it. The second one was that the football coach was allowed to pray after the game. He went over by himself, and the kids slowly come along with him. God forbid you do that.
Amen.
The other one was Roe versus Wade, went back to the states. And again, it's a powerful thing for certain people. If you don't understand, you want as many powers to the state, because you could change your state legislators and stuff like that to it's easier to change your laws state level than federal level. And listen, I'm not saying either way you're right or wrong. It's easier to get your legislation through the states, through the local folks, to get the way reflects where you live and who you live with. Number one. All right. Number two, I don't care what anybody thinks in Washington, D.C. They do not care about your rights. They care about Planned Parenthood, which is a bondoogle of money for them, and all kinds of secret projects that they have with this. That's what they're worried about. When you get into the states, you lose a lot of that, because now there's not that federal interest in it. It's just the states. So if you're in a state and you feel, yes, we don't want abortions, but there are certain circumstances. I mean, there's certain circumstances to murder. There's cases that go out there when you kill somebody, you ding somebody off. Yeah, I killed them, and this is why. It had to be done. Well, the same goes true with all of this. So, I personally don't feel it's a right taken away from the women, which I could be completely wrong in certain people's opinion. But I do know that if you feel that there's certain rights that need to be for the women in this subject, your chances of getting it done through this, I don't care what state you live in, because if you don't have it through legislation now, it will go to court, and your peers will hear this case, and there will be a law put into your state saying, yes, if this happens to this woman, and this is what happened, and it ended up as this result, whether it was an abortion or not, this is allowed now, which you can't do that on the federal government. The last one was the EPA is not allowed to put a cap on energy companies as far as carbon footprints and stuff like that. That's critical. That's huge, because we've been saying since we started this thing that if you have a case that's going to go in front of the Supreme Court, you are going to lose, because in the Constitution, it says that the legislators are allowed to appoint certain people to take care of certain legislation and laws. So when you go to the Supreme Court, if you can find a judge that's attorney that's going to do it, they're going to lose. It happened in 2020 election. It happened for my lifetime. I have never seen somebody say, listen, the government fined me this, shut me down on this. I mean, it's to the point now that we have refineries, small mom and pop refineries, that this administration opened up regulations that were from 2018 that were shut down. They went back to that. It literally says in the Constitution, you're not allowed to proactive a charge on somebody that wasn't on the books then. They're doing it and putting those mom and pop companies out of business. Well, now they can't do it. So that's good news. Here's the angle on it, though, folks. And it comes from both sides of the aisle, again, like usual. All right? So, yeah, we had some great victories on there as far as not subject of what it was, but the content of these rights going back to the state, where the state has the right to argue these cases. And if you do not have a state that's in your realm of EPA or Roe versus Wade or praying at a football game and this and that, these are opinions from the Supreme Court, and they send these rulings down. Now, that doesn't say that it has to stay like that forever, because it's just saying that the legislation from Washington, D.C. is non-constitutional. Rewrite it, bring it back. But you could do it on the state level much easier. The state now can go in and say, no. We don't want it this way. We want it this way. We want everything. We want nothing. But then, extremes this way and extremes this way are going to come in through your peers in court. Now, the bad news for this is, unfortunately, we can't get too excited, because the Supreme Court just swore in a Supreme Court nominee that on public TV, in live, when they talked to her and asked her questions, could not define what a female is. Now, she couldn't define what a female is, but the president of the United States came on TV with his microphone and said, I am going to appoint a female black woman, African American, to be the first female African American to the Supreme Court.
You know who he was going to want?
No.
An anti-abortion drug.
Yeah, well, this one, I mean, so why would you make that statement? I'm going to appoint, my person I'm putting in is a female black. She doesn't know what a female is.
You know,
According to the testimony, that's fine.
Sounds to me she's going with public opinion. I thought they weren't supposed to do that.
Well, listen,
I mean,
here's the
she's not
problem.
even in.
But I don't care what she says. I mean, she can believe in the tooth fairy. I don't care. Here comes the problem. After all of that, after she admitted not being able to define what a female is, the United States Senate still voted her to a lifetime appointee as a Supreme Court justice.
Wow.
So she's the votes. Well, it was, it wasn't a lot of, but there was Republicans. Without the Republican vote, she wouldn't have got it. And she got, I think, 3 of them. 3 of them went, and 3 Republicans voted on her. And now, starting, I think, a week ago or 2 weeks ago,
last week, yeah.
she's in for life. There she is. So how is she supposed to go and do any Roe versus Wade? How is she supposed to do anything that has anything to do with gender? She should have to accuse herself from that hearing. Anything that has anything to do with any kind of gender, because she doesn't know what they are, she should have to recuse herself, and it'd be down to 8 justices of the peace. You think she would do that?
No.
Hopefully.
I don't think she's going to do that.
So we haven't had James on in a while.
Hello, James. Welcome.
Hello, Jack.
He's been a little busy. Let's get his take on this kind of 2 of them, Roe versus Wade, and because you still live in New York. What about the gun law?
Well, as far as the new abortion verdict that the Supreme Court has handed down, I mean, first of all, it's everybody knows it's up to the states, it's up to all 50 states of what they want to do. And I was listening to the news a little bit today, and of course, I believe in South Carolina, is it being they're completely outlawing it here? Is that what it is?
Well, they got the heartbeat law.
Yeah.
They passed the heartbeat law. And like I said, again, my daughter was very upset about this, and I understand what she's saying. And it's very hard for me to try and explain how important it is to have these issues on the state level, how you can really mold it to what you want in your life, in your backyard.
The only problem I have is when the states want to restrict you from going to their other states to get what need to get done.
Right.
It should be, I think it should be a woman should be able to choose her own. That's what America is about.
Well, first of all, this is such a personal subject.
That's right.
It should not be made political.
No.
And for thousands and thousands of people, this is just the democratic way, the liberal way of what we've been seeing the last few years of all the protests.
But I tell you the truth, James, I don't believe they care either way. They're worried about losing their money out of Planned Parenthood.
That's it, exactly.
They don't, right? But, South Carolina politicians have assured that if a woman wants to get an abortion, they're gonna make sure that they get to neighboring state like North Carolina, which is offering these abortions, open-handedly. So,
Yeah, but like I said, my own problem is if they're in the Constitution, you can't restrict anybody from going across state lines.
Yeah.
Now states want to do that, they want to restrict people. So that's bullshit.
Well, I'll tell you the truth, even the choice of it, how is the state supposed to tell you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, I think it has to go to court, and there has to be an issue there, and then your peers decide whether this is right or wrong.
so where it gets crazy is the people that believe that having an abortion at full pregnancy is okay. It's not. It's absolutely not okay.
Well,
Andrew Cuomo signed it into law in New York State that, you can have an abortion up to pregnancy,
Full term?
full term.
Yeah, full term.
And that is absolutely crazy. I mean, in my opinion, that's murder,
Right.
But there's a fine line of when it's actually okay to have an abortion
Right.
or whatever.
well, to play again, I'm not going to say my personal opinion on it.
Yeah.
But if you want to play devil's advocate, we can do this all day long. That's why a lot of times we don't take into opinion of it. If you have a politician that's honestly trying to govern through
The Constitution.
not even the Constitution, but through what they're worrying about, and I know they're not worried about it because they just worry about money, would be that young kid that doesn't have any guidance, doesn't have any family, waits through the whole term, now all of a sudden realizes,
Holy crap.
I'm in a shitload of trouble right now, folks, and I didn't know I had this option 9 months ago. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Again, this is what has to happen through the courts again. So, if they were really truly governing through principle, which they don't, and that's why we formulated this group, this new party, the Independent Constitutional Party, you would hope that was their interest. It's not, because they don't even know who their constituents are anymore. But to play devil's advocate, that's what the folks that are sitting there with a clear mind and a clear conscience are saying, listen, this is why the only person on the planet that would wait 9 months to the extent of that would be some young kid that didn't know what she was supposed to do. She was, whether she's being raised in foster care, and foster care is the one that forced this onto them. I mean, there's a multitude of evil out there. We don't know where it's coming from and where it's up to, but
I completely get that. I understand that. It's such a personal issue, but there again, it should not be made political, and that's what it's come to.
right, it shouldn't be political.
So hold on to the gun part. I'm gonna mention something about guns in a little while. Mike?
I was saying, I talked to my daughter, and what I was trying to tell her, she says, it's ridiculous. She's worried about girls that get raped
Right.
or they can die from having this pregnancy. And I said, look, Kristen, if you're against abortion, the politicians are going to go for what they want at the maximum. Like, you cannot have an abortion. I said, then going through the courts, they will put that in with the exceptions of the rules. I said, just like the liberals with their abortions, you can have it right up to birth. I said, and then they work it through the courts to get it more in line to, where it's not nuts.
Listen, there is a process for it. And this, I think, is a great learning curve and tool for this younger generation, like my daughter and your daughter, Mike, to keep an eye on it. Don't make it your life, but read the newspaper, watch the news, local news. You see something like that going on,
You let them know.
then you start taking an interest in it. And you
Right.
start pushing what's right for that person, in your opinion,
Right.
on where they're going.
And you let
Because if you try and do it on a federal basis, first off, there's so much special interest money in it. You are not going to get to anybody's door and knock on it and say, "Oh, what's going on here?" But on the state level,
Right.
let me tell you something, your state representative, your state senators and stuff like that, they walk around by themselves. They are loaded. Go ahead, Mike.
Wouldn't the going through the courts take a lot more time that the mother might not have at that point? Like, what if it was a decision that needed to be made immediately due to medical reasons?
Well, listen, this is going to be, the events happened. So basically, I mean, it's probably going to go to a court to a charge. So this person and the doctor are going to be charged, and they're going to have to go to court and plead their case to their peers. So the event's most likely going to happen already. So that's what that is. You know, it's a, you know, the charge is going to be there already. Now that person, that girl or woman is going to have to plead her case to her peers, and her attorney is going to have to get peers on that jury that are like-minded. And listen, this country's 50-50. There is no way you can't get peers in court that see your same values.
Ready for the next topic?
So anyway, you know, I hope I explained that a little bit better, because, you know, last week we did just kind of, we went right through it.
Hopefully, it helped answer some questions for your daughter.
Yeah.
You know, so stop what you're doing and listen to my next statements.
Oh boy.
Stop what you're doing. So people are fed up and disappointed with this country. From high inflation, gas prices, food prices, everything across the board. We can't even afford it anymore. You can't even afford to go out to dinner half the time anymore, because you just can't afford it. You know, our way of life is under assault by people who are trying not only to divide this nation, but destroy us from the inside. Politicians to the 1%ers, known as the billionaires, social media giants with censorship to news media agencies, they all lie,
Unfortunately, a lot of those billionaires aren't even U.S. citizens.
right?
That's outrageous.
These people we don't trust any longer. As Americans, we the people should live the life we choose without government interference. Your daughter name's Megan, right? Your daughter's name is Megan?
Yes.
So Megan, that's what we don't want government in our lives. Leave it up to the states. But the government wants to care for us from cradle to grave. We have to stop this.
Well, the problem is the government really doesn't care for you.
Right.
And to a certain extent, needs the state. But at least the state, you can get your neighbors involved.
And then the votes count the stronger in the state.
Right.
Because now you get 100 people, and that makes a difference.
This is why the Democrats are so afraid of this ruling, is because it is going to start a grassroots that is going to lay out all of their secret hit skeletons in the closet right now.
Well, you got the prayer, that's got to kill them. You got the abortion, you hit flipping out on that one.
You know, these politicians think they know how we should be treated, what salary we should make, what we should believe in. You know, they think they know what we want.
Salaries you make, you know what department of the government does that? In the founding fathers, they said this is the least dangerous branch of government. Judicial. The judicial tells you how much you can get paid, how many hours you can work a week,
Really?
what your health benefits are. Oh yeah.
You know, they have no clue what people
Oh, yeah,
want.
that's right, they can tell you the minimum wage.
You know, they don't care to hear from us. They
Wow.
care less what we say. So they say they know what's best for us because they are the ruling class. That's bullshit.
70% of your kids going to public school don't know what the judicial system does.
Or if it's what it is.
You know, our Constitution was created to protect every man, woman, and child in this nation. It's there to protect us from them, the politicians, the tyrants we have created. Yes, we have created.
Yes, our generation definitely
Yeah.
did. We dropped our check in the checks and balances of the Constitution.
You know, I'm tired of hearing from people who say that the Constitution is outdated. It's a roving document. Yeah,
It's not even a little bit.
you know, we fixed the Constitution by adding amendments to make it better for we the people.
A more perfect union.
You know, many people have lost sight of that. And yes, we have created this monster in Washington because we keep electing the same morons back to office who don't give a damn about you or us. Have people become that brainwashed in America that they don't see it?
Well, here we go again. If you want to go back to last week, again, I'll just run these numbers again, just because we had them last week. Maybe, if I can find my papers.
I mean, Jack and I see it, and we're gonna do something about it. What we're trying to do is educate you,
Yeah, here it is.
and then we're letting, go ahead.
70% of the students today that go to public school do not know the United States Constitution is the law of the land. 65% do not know what the role of the judiciary is. 62% cannot name the 3 branches of government. Here's the killer. 48% of our elected officials do not know the 3 branches of government.
Oh,
You know, see, we're trying to educate you, show you we have a better way than these lost parties. I mean, we all have to see it. How these politicians have divided us, not just recently, but over the last 40 years. You know, we all mentioned Roe versus Wade. Look at all the protests with abortion and anti-abortion groups. You know what you don't see? Politicians coming up with a solution.
Bingo.
You know, that issue has divided this country so much that people are getting hurt, and people are being threatened by left-wing and right-wing groups. People
They
don't
got the
want to
big
house
spoon
anymore.
Stir it up, folks. Stir it up.
We have not seen the end of these demonstrations. The rule in America has broken down thanks to these so-called politicians, these tyrants. You know, they hide out in their offices or go to their gym membership. We pay for it.
Yeah.
While people are losing their lives, they hide under their desks.
Yeah, when the government shuts down, Congress's gym does not shut down.
or their lunchroom.
Or their lunchroom.
You know, and Jim gave me this idea. Just look over the holiday weekend. 13 mass shootings, with 12 people killed and 70 injured. There's been over 300 mass shootings this year. 300. That's with 4 people. And then with 4 people been shot, not including the gunman.
That's why I wrote that prayer. It's very upsetting what's going on in this nation.
We don't have a gun problem. We have a politician problem. We have
Uh,
a bad guy problem.
Well, like we said, these blue liberal cities that want all of these gun regulations, gun arrests are down 90%. Crime is up, murders up, shootings are up, assault is up, gun arrests.
Chicago has the strictest gun crimes on record. And look at all the shootings there.
Gun laws.
You know, CNN put it, these were places that seem safe, but few spaces in America are guaranteed safe for anyone. Finally agree with CNN on something.
See?
See,
You gotta watch.
and they only thought we listened to the right thing.
We finally did it.
We listen to them all. Everywhere we go, people are not safe. Doesn't matter what state, what municipality you live in. Violence can erupt at any second. So what do law-abiding citizens do? I'll get you in a second, Mike.
Okay.
We get our concealed weapons permit in our states to carry a gun legally when we leave our house, just like I do. It's an 8-hour course.
Yeah.
It's easy to get one. You know, we do it legally. These criminals, they don't do it legally.
No.
They have guns that,
There's always gonna be that Saturday night special.
yep. But even our constitutional right to bear arms is being infringed on by politicians. Another controversial topic that is dividing this country. Jim, what's your I'll get you a second, Mike.
That's okay.
Talk about your gun law. What did Governor Hochul do with the gun law?
Believe she implemented all these new laws, as Jack discussed earlier. When somebody asked her how many murders or shootings are from law-abiding citizens that actually have the permit and, went through the course legally, she said that's not needed. I don't need to know the numbers. Hochul is just signing all this for votes. She's up for re-election, or not even re-election, because she didn't legally get elected. She just wants the votes to come in, and any gun law she can throw on the books, she's going to. And that's what the liberals are doing today.
You can't wait to move down here, can you?
Yeah.
Mike, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, because of all this that's going on in this nation and everything, God bless this nation because it was a Christian base. Now, whether people want to believe that or not, it's in history. They brought the King James Bible down. They were Christians. It was based on that. Even the government is based on that.
Right.
We're losing the blessings, and I just want to say, I think we could get the blessings back by find the book back, King James Bible, open the book, read the book, heed the book, believe the book, obey the book, repeat daily.
Jack?
Well, we have read this before, and this was Federalist #1,
Show them that book.
the general,
How much this book cost? Look at it back. Can you tell people? Give them back to you.
$15. This book here,
Barnes and Noble,
Barnes & Noble, I know you can't really see it,
Federalist Papers.
Federalist Papers. So the Federalist Papers was written by John Jay, Alexander Hamilton, and
Who's the other guy?
James
Madison.
Madison. So Alexander Hamilton, #1, general introduction. We've read this before. And again, there has to be some sort of religion in this government. And this is what he said in the first paragraph. This is what his argument was for the people in New York to vote to get this Constitution put in. This is before the Constitution was legal. It has been frequently remarked that it seems to have been reserved to the people of this country by their conduct and example to decide the important question whether societies of men are really capable or not of establishing good government from reflection and choice, or whether they are forever destined to depend for their political constitutions on accident and force. In other words, he was saying that God was so much on our side that he reserved these men to be part of this country, to write this Constitution, to formulate this kind of government that has never been there before in life, through ancient readings of Aristotle and Pluto and Greek philosophy.
Pluto's hard to read.
It is, but I read it. It was good.
I did too.
But that was their belief, because it was so unbelievable that they had beat the British at their own game and became an independent, free nation out of tyranny, while every other country in the world was ruled by monarch. One power, the king, period. You had no say. You had no ability to move on. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take up
The
all
thing
your
is,
time.
Democrats, regarding the gun issue, politicians on both sides have some great ideas, great topics to talk about, but nothing will ever get accomplished because of partisan politics. That's pretty sad. It's been this way for 40 years. 40 years of no or very little accomplishments by either political party. Neither party helps the people anymore. Each show we tell people that we need to rise up. Instead of being a divided nation, we must become a united nation. So after Jack and Someone's next topic, we're going to talk about being united by an idea.
I just want to hit on a few topics for everybody to think about. I was a guy I was talking to. His name is Roger, and he's a good guy, strong conservative. And I asked him, anything you want to hear? And he's take your pick. The one-sided, no rebuttal January 6th farce, the continual lies from the fossil fuel chief about the reasons for the outrageous gas prices, liberal control of the media that perpetrates the lies from the White House, which that's what I'm going to do next week. All week next week, I'm going to get the emails and text messages and phone numbers, and we're going to put them on our webpage. I'll announce a few of them on here. I'll show you to them. Yeah, call these people if you hear anything. Our weakened woke military with leaders put in place by Obama years earlier, intent on taking the testosterone out of our once great warriors. Our warriors are still great, but our leaders are not so much. Here's the one that keeps me up at night. The deeply concerning deep state, corrupt Justice Department, FBI, CIA that has been weaponized against anyone who doesn't think left. This guy literally feels like he's enemy to state number one. If you have any kind of concerns, and we've been calling it, I mean, we had t-shirts up on our merchandise. I want the FBI, not the KGB. They are acting like the KGB of the 80s. Show me a man, I'll find you a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing. The FBI hasn't solved the case of a criminal intent that affects the American people in probably 10 years. Probably 10 years. And I'm telling you this right now, it's every one of it. I don't care about the chain of command and the guy in the trenches. The guy in the trenches is just as much for blame, because you should make a vote of no confidence in your leaders and say, no. I'm not raiding this parent's house because they went to a PTA meeting. I need to get this drug dealer off the street, or I need to get this guy that's laundering money off the street. Not a parent that's worried about what their kid's learning at the PTA meeting. All right? Please, anybody out there that listens to this, send me a fact on what the FBI has solved a crime in the last 10 years that affects us, the people. Not some political witch hunt that costs $30 million and nothing's done at the end of it. It's bullshit. These people are taking trillions of our tax dollars and spending trillions of more money that they don't have, indebting our posterity, not teaching our children what needs 70%? 70% of our children don't know that the Constitution is the law of the land? Listen, there was another time in history where there was an insurrection. And that was just before one of the greatest leaders of this country's history, Abraham Lincoln, was elected. That these politicians allowed this shit to go on, and it caused a civil war. All right? So it's those people that you believe there was a true insurrection on January 6th, the only reason why something like that happens is because our leaders suck and they're not doing your job. And so the people of the street are getting fed up enough that they'll go march against who they voted in. And why do they do that? Because they're not educated enough to know what the laws of the land are.
Do you know like 25% of the nation want to take up arms against the new government? 25%.
That's a scary thought, folks, because there's other ways. We could totally change this entire government. The founding fathers set it up this way, that we can change the entire government in 6 years at the ballot.
Yep. So how do we unite a divided nation, which is only created by politicians? You can't lead when times get tough. And as a nation, we've seen very hard times. And as a nation, we've made it through those times that put us to the test. We always come out on top. It's going to be the same today during these trying times. We do that by being united behind an idea and believing in ourselves, making a commitment to better the people of our society. We have a simple idea. It's called the Independent Constitutional Party, a party for all the people of America who are fed up with politics, especially politicians. Data tells us that over 70% of the population want another major party to offset the two that we have. People are leaving these parties in droves. They're going somewhere else, most likely non-registered, registered to vote, but pick no party, or independents. But you just can't say you want another party and then bash others when they actually do something to make the country more transparent and accountable. And even more important, be accountable to you and your family. These two major parties have left us. We didn't leave them, they left us. The ICP is an idea where people can unite and stand for a cause, just like our founders did. A place where we educate our members as to why the Constitution is so important. We will be that place where we find the right candidates to run for office. We'll stay out of primaries. Let candidates win for themselves and not have party leaders tell us that who we should vote for. You vote for them, and we get involved after the primaries. You know, It's we the people that decide who wins,
That's
not
right.
bosses, not party bosses. You know, candidates need to show us that they want our ballot line, and they prove to us that they'll run on our platform. If they don't, we don't want them. An idea this big may seem hard to accomplish, but believe me, it's easier than you think. All you have to do is believe. Believe in us and believe in you. It's that simple. And we know we're not going to be able to change everyone's mind, nor do we want to. We're looking for committed patriots fed up with this political system and want to help achieve change. We've started with a great core of people to help us. People committed to making this a reality. There'll be a lot of naysayers, but we'll tune them out. We'll tune them out really good. We've done the math.
Prove them wrong.
That's right. We've done the math, and the numbers are in our favor. The timing is right. Numbers don't lie. We'll explain our ideas as many times as someone wants to hear it, because we have a great message. It's called the Independent Constitutional Party. So get involved with us today. So Jack, unless you got anything else you want to go last call?
Last call. Goes along the line of this. This is going to be a party that brings back principle and the Constitution. We know by what we talked about earlier today that there's certain things in this country that aren't perfect. Some of the rulings came back that a lot of our country enjoys those rulings and a lot of our country does not enjoy those rulings. The problem is that either side do not know how to accomplish the ends of what they want. So we know that our biggest problem is we get a lot of people from the Republican side say there's not enough room for another minor party that will eventually grow into a political norm. That's what we want to be the conscience of government. When they want to go past, we want to get enough people in office, state, local, federal, where when they want to go crazy and do something, well, we can't. We got to talk to these guys because they're crazy. They listen to the law of the land. The American people are screaming for a change. And the response of our leaders has been what? The response has been tyranny and suffrage. Disgrace with governing of from our government, so far away from the principles of what our founding fathers had. They are a disgrace. It's unrecognizable of what our government is supposed to be and how it's supposed to be run. The people of this country are ripe. They are ripe for success. The American people are aching to be Americans. As much as Hollywood doesn't want to admit it, look at the movie. Top Gun. Patriotic movie, #1 by hundreds and hundreds of millions to the second place movie. Our people of America are ripe to have the success that they deserve in normal governing. And what's normal governing? Normal governing is principles and to stay united. This country was founded on being united. Europe never worked, never will work, never has worked because there's too many factions in it. We are united. We are the United States of America. Every world war has started in Europe.
And this one's going to start too.
Why is that? Think why that is. So what I have to say to everybody is, welcome back to America and welcome to the cure, because the cure is the Independent Constitutional Party. I just got my, keeping you up, I'm running for a state legislative spot, if it happens. We have a guy running for U.S. Congress. If his spot opens, I'm going to run for his spot. And I had gotten my registration list. And according to that list, 5% will be 1,800 signatures. We're going to have a goal of 2,500 so we can get there and put it on the ballot. And we're just going to show you folks that sometimes when you're looking for the best candidate out there, you might be it.
So we got some feedback from Mia in New Jersey. She said she listened to our show every week. And said we're getting a lot better. So thank you, Mia.
That's good. It's tough to get much worse.
That's right. So my last call is this. Listen, I know you have several options to choose a political party, especially getting away from the Republican Democratic parties. Libertarian Party, founded in 1972, they're just a spin-off of the Republican Party. We're not gonna be a spin-off, we're gonna be our own.
None.
We're not gonna back any Republican or Democrats, we're gonna run our ballot line only. The Green Party started in 1980s, they started in Alaska. The Constitution Party started in 1992. You know, they've been around for 30 plus years, and they are not even in every state. I mean, the important thing is they're still here trying to make a difference, and I have to give them credit. At the time they were created, they had an idea. At this time, that idea is stale. It needs infusion. It needs new leadership with better ideas, or they will turn into a carbon copy of the Republican and Democratic parties. We all want it. We had enough of them. So give our idea, the Independent Constitution Party, a chance, and together we can build an awesome party for the people of this great nation.
It would be very easy for us to be a splinter group of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. We would just have to get there okay. No list, no nothing. We're on our way.
We're not going to do that.
We're not doing that.
No one's going to tell us how to run a party. So find us at Facebook and look on our website, fedupwithpolitics.com. Do your research and homework on politics. Ask the tough questions of candidates. Folks, knowledge is power. Be the one who has that knowledge and join us, the Independent Constitution Party. The time is now. The time is right. It's time for patriots to rise up. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next Thursday.
We had problem on this
We
phone.
lost the end on my phone.
We lost the end on the Independent Constitution Party.
Okay, it's all right.
But I have mine.
What happened?
It
It
just
said due to low networking.
it's shut down.
All right, did you shut it off now? Because you might
Yeah, it's off.
click on that one.
So,
We'll just replace that one with the one on yours.
okay.
Did the YouTube come out?
He's doing it now.
Good job, guys. There was some meat in that one, huh? I mean, it's with the abortion and all of these things, there's some people with very hard feelings about this stuff, you know? And,
My daughter's one of them, and she let in on me last week.
and it's good that you guys didn't run from it.
She, her and I had a good conversation of probably over an hour last week on it.
Can't be my daughter too. I was trying to explain that you'd rather have it